What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is my betting breakdown video for UFC Vegas 69. We got Jessica Andrade going against Aaron Blanchfield.
I need all the wins, yeah. Harder than all that is. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out.
And we are back for another betting breakdown video. This week, breaking down UFC Vegas 69. We got 11 fights to talk about. I do have 5 bets to talk about, 5 units on the line. And I'll be honest, even that, it feels like a lot. This card is very sketchy in my opinion. I would recommend maybe treading lightly. I mean, there's a lot of sketchy fights, like Philippe Lin's OSP, Ash Kebab, Jamal Emmers. You got Pogues, Parisian, Jordan Wright on a co-main event, William Knight, Marcin Prokhnio, Alexander Hernandez is a big favorite, like just Mar Bueno Silva's minus 600. I mean, it's a card that I'm going to tread very, very lightly on. So yeah, not a ton of action this week, so gonna try to keep it short and sweet this week, see how it works out, but not a card I'm extremely confident in. Before we get started though and get into the bets, and if you guys can please leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, trying to reach 20K hopefully in the very near future. And then yeah, check me out on Twitter, DFS_numbers, Instagram, DFS by the numbers. My DMs are always open, always pretty active on Twitter, especially doing a lot of content on Instagram as well. And yeah, guys, going live 2 hours before the prelims on Saturday for Best Bet. I'm going to have me, Narco Cop, Danny Betts, and Addicted Combat Patrick on there. Should be a fun Best Bet show 2 hours prior to these prelims at 2 Eastern. All right, I say we get into it. Not a ton to talk about on this show, but as you guys know, as always, going to be talking through these fights from a betting perspective and a betting perspective only. If you do want a further, more in-depth breakdown on why I like which fighter, on why I'm betting what, go check out my full card breakdown prediction video I posted on Monday, and then also did a live stream on Friday. So we got Clayton Carpenter going against Juan Camilo Ronderos. We got Carpenter around minus 300, Ronderos plus 250. And I do a like a prelim parlay, a Hail Mary parlay, and a main card parlay on my website, dfsbythenumbers.com. And I do have Carpenter in my prelim parlay. But other than that, not much sticking out other than Carpenter as a potential parlay piece. I think he goes out there and wins. I think he's the bigger fighter. I think he's more dangerous everywhere. I think he's going to be the better wrestler in this matchup. What's interesting about Ronderos is, I went and watched him, and he's going out there and wrestling a lot and having success. It's just when people kind of turn the table on him and wrestle him, he just doesn't have any takedown defense. He doesn't have a get-up game. So I think Carpenter should be able to get him down, no problem, use that size, and potentially even finish him. No props sticking out, though, on this one. The fight doesn't go as minus 215. It's way too pricey for a flyweight fight. Like, these guys weigh 125 pounds. I lean towards Carpenter finishing him, but, I don't really think there's much value on that. The pick is Carpenter. Probably inside the distance. And as far as, like, a bet, I think Carpenter's not the worst parlay piece on the card. Next, we got AJ Fletcher going against Themba Gorimbo. I do have a bet here. I like the under. I did get it earlier in the week. I got all my bets in by Tuesday morning, this card. So the under opened up at minus 105. It went to plus 110 for some reason. I hit it there for a unit, and of course, money's been coming in on that all week. I still don't mind the under here around minus 150 range. And I also don't mind the Fletcher inside the distance around plus money. I think Fletcher inside the distance is a good way to look at Fletcher, especially, rather than laying like the minus 300. Because if Fletcher wins, I think it's early. Fletcher is coming in here on short notice. He does have potential cardio issues. And I'm just not sold on Gorimbo. I'm not sold on this Gorimbo guy. He's 32 years old, making his debut. And I'm just not sure he's UFC caliber. Like, offensively, his wrestling's okay, but defensively, he has no takedown defense. He has no get-up game. He has no striking defense. I think Fletcher can knock him out on the feet. I think Fletcher can take him down, get a TKO, get a sub. I think Fletcher kind of walks through this guy, but the reason I do like the under a little bit more than Fletcher inside the distance is because if Fletcher does not finish him early, it could get sketchy, and maybe Fletcher shoots in for a sloppy shot in that second and third round. Maybe gets caught in something if he's tired. So I do like the under more, but I don't mind anybody taking a shot on Fletcher inside the distance around plus 100. I think that's a solid way to play it as well. But my bet is going to be the under 2.5 rounds, plus 110, 1 unit on that. Next, we got Nazim Sadikov going against Evan Elder. Nothing here. I think Sadikov should win this fight, should be favored, but I do think Evan Elder is going to make a better account of himself. Last fight he came up on short notice, up a weight class against Preston Parsons, did not look great. But what he did show me was just toughness. I mean, the guy showed a ton of toughness, fought out of some very deep chokes. His chin held up as well. So, seeing that fight, I just don't have a strong lean one way or another whether this fight finishes or not. Because is Sadikov going to finish as somebody as tough as Evan Elder? I don't know. Just don't have a really strong read on this fight, but I do like Sadikov. I think he's trained in a good gym. I think his striking is really good. I think he has good offensive wrestling, good grappling. Defensively, his takedown defense is not the best. I've seen him put in a lot of bad spots, and that's enough for me to kind of stay away here. But the pick's going to be Sadikov. Just nothing sticking out from a betting perspective. Next, we got the first 1-800 fight on the card. We have 4 of them on this card, I think. We have Philippe Lins going against OSP. Nothing. I mean, both these guys. Philippe Lins, I mean, do you want to lay minus 210 on Philippe Lins? No, you don't. Do you want to put any money on OSP, who looks like he doesn't even want to be there, these days? No. OSP has looked atrocious as of late. And at least with Philippe Lins, it looks like he somewhat wants to be there in the cage. So for that reason, I got to pick him to go out there and just do a little bit more, whereas OSP's literally doing nothing his last couple fights. But I'm not laying minus 210 on the guy. I mean, no way. I considered like the under, or the fight doesn't go, but that would mean I'd have to A, put money on this fight, and B, that would mean these guys would have to go out there and do something, which I'm convinced they might not. So it's a big pass, 1-800 fight of the week. I'm not betting this fight, and I'm not even sure if I'm watching. I mean, this fight's going to be rough to watch from a fan perspective. It's rough from a betting perspective. It's rough from just about every perspective you can think of. Pass. Next, we have another 1-800 fight of the card. We got Hussein Ashkabab going against Jamal Emmers. And yeah, we got another 1-800 fight. I mean, we have so many unknowns in this fight, so many red flags in this fight. We have Ashkabab, who's coming up a weight class from bantamweight to featherweight. We have Ashkabab, who has not fought in 3 years. And we have Ashkabab, who has fought complete bums. He's 23-0. That record looks very nice, but you go dig into the record, and he literally has not fought anybody. I came out with maybe one somewhat legit guy on his record, but other than that, he's fighting trash cans. I mean, this guy, I'm not even convinced like half his opponents are real people. Like half these guys, they don't have Instagrams, they don't have Tapology pages. Like I don't know if they're even real. So I mean, yes, he's 23-0 and he looks okay. I'm not completely sold on him, but he's fighting out of a really good gym. Multiple good gyms. I think he's trained at like ATT. I think he's doing some work at the gym. Tiger Muay Thai, the gym where Zhang Weili's trained. I think he's doing some work there, doing some work on another really good gym as well. So he's going all over the place, and we have not seen him fight since he was 25. He's now 28. So you got to expect improvements out of this guy, and I hope so. I hope we see improvements out of this guy because I was very unimpressed with what I saw, but I'm watching fights from 5-6 years ago, right? So it's just a sketchy fight here. And then we got Jamal Emmers, who people are very low on because he went out there and got submitted by Pat Sabatini. But yeah, Emmers is good. He's fought the much better competition. Wins over Corey Sandhagen, almost beat Giga. He's fought the better competition in and outside the UFC. He has really good striking, really good volume, really good power, wrestling background, high school, college, brown belt, and BJJ. Lots of reason to like Emmers outside the fight IQ. I mean, the guy's fight IQ is atrocious. He grappled. No, yeah, he grappled when he should have struck against Pat Sabatini, and then he struck when he should have grappled against Giga Chikadze. So it's hard for anybody to be confident in this fight. It's hard for me to lay minus like 150 on Ashkabab, who has fought nobody. Like this is going to be his first opponent, as far as I'm concerned. The very first guy he's ever fought. The 23-0 means nothing to me because he's not fought anybody. Emmers would go 23-0 as well. And then we got Emmers, who has bad fight IQ, and he's on a layoff in his own right, so it's just a sketchy fight. With that said, I did take the shot on Jamal Emmers, and this is the first time I got reverse CLV'd in a while. But I put half a unit on Jamal Emmers on Sunday, and he's now sitting at plus 135, plus 136. So I got a little reverse CLV there. Lots of love on Ashkabab, and that tells me that maybe he's made improvements, but I have not seen those improvements, so we're going to have to find out. It's a big show-me spot here for Ashkabab. I don't think he's a bum. I think he's fought bums. I don't think he's a bum by any means, but he's going to have to show me here that he can go out there and compete against an actual person that's a real person. Like, I know, we've seen Jamal in there with other real people, so it's a big show-me spot for Ashkabab, but it's a sketchy fight. I mean, don't put any money on this fight. I did, and I even don't feel great about it, but I definitely wouldn't feel great about laying chalk on this fight. So it's a big pass. But give me a half a unit shot on Emmers. We will see what happens. All right, this fight, I have the next fight I have a bet on it too, unfortunately. We got Marbleno Silva, Lena Landsberg. I bet the over 2.5 here. I mean, the line didn't make much sense at minus 110. It opened up minus 250. It went to minus 130 for the over 2.5, and then it went to minus 110. I'm like, what's going on? I mean, this line makes no sense. So I jumped on the over 2.5 at minus 110. I put a unit on it. The reason being is Mara Bueno Silva, she's not knocking out anybody. When she's winning fights inside the distance, she's winning them by sub. She has 3 submission wins in the UFC out of her, 3 submission wins in the UFC, all off of her back, all by armbar. And the thing with Mara Bueno Silva, she's a really good grappler. She just doesn't wrestle. She's only attempted 1 takedown in the UFC, and guess what? She hasn't got it. So for this fight to hit the mat, it's going to have to be Lena Landsberg taking it there, which I don't think she does. I think this fight plays out on the feet, and Lena Landsberg's tough. Lena Landsberg's been knocked out twice in the UFC, but it was against Aspen Ladd on the mat, and then it was against Chris Cyborg, and then nobody's finishing Mara Bueno Silva. So I think if this fight does finish, it's probably an armbar from guard type situation, but Silva doesn't try to get it there. She refuses to take the fight down to the mat, and Landsberg, I think for there to be an armbar, Landsberg is going to have to take this fight down to the mat herself, and I just don't really see why she would. So, I mean, it just makes no sense to me. I know Landsberg's like 50, but give me Mara Bueno Silva by decision. I would not recommend laying minus 600 on a fight that probably goes the distance, probably stays standing, and is probably going to be a lot closer than the line does indicate, but Silva should get it done and get it done by decision. The bet, though, is the over 2.5 rounds, minus 110. If you guys know me, you guys know that I never bet overs, but it just doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Like, Landsberg's never been subbed for what it's worth as well. Moving on. Main card. No, almost main card. Actually, this might be on the main card. I don't know, man. Alexander Hernandez going against Jim Miller. Nothing here. I mean, after looking into the fight, I feel like Hernandez should be favored. I mean, it's a big step down in competition for him, going from guys like Renato Moicano, Billy Q, and it's a big step up for Jim Miller, going from guys like a retiring Donald Cerrone, Nicholas Mata, who else? Ghost Pepper. So Hernandez should have a lot of opportunities here, whether it's a first-round knockout, whether it's a grinding-based decision. I can see a lot of pass for Hernandez. But how can you trust him? How can you trust Hernandez at minus 225, minus 230? You can't. I mean, this guy has been falling off a cliff every time the fight hits the second round. It's a big bet. Like, if anything, honestly, I'd probably take the shot on Miller. It's just, I think it's a bad matchup for him. But I'm not betting on this fight. No props stick out. The minus 230 for the fight doesn't go to decision. That's too chalky for me. Jim Miller is tough. He's only been knocked out twice. I could see Hernandez by decision. Nothing. Big pass. All right, moving on. Next, we got William Knight going against Marcin Prachnio. It's like the third 1-800 gambler fight of the night. Both these guys are atrocious, and they're on the main card for some reason. William Knight minus 120, Marcin Prachnio plus 100. Never been high on William Knight. I never thought he was UFC caliber, but luckily he's going against Marcin Prachnio, who I think the same thing about. What I do like here is the under. I have one unit on the under 2.5 rounds, minus 125. And I think Knight probably does finish Prachnio, and does it pretty early. Prachnio been knocked out 4 times, all 4 of those coming in the first round. But, to kind of cover both sides here, William Knight got knocked out by Devin Clark, which is not good at all. Getting knocked out by Devin Clark is inexcusable. Devin Clark's a great fighter. Don't get me wrong, I mean, he's an okay fighter, but Devin Clark's not knocking out anybody, ever. But he knocked out William Knight. So it would not completely shock me if Prachnio knocked out William Knight. That's why I like the under. But I'm more so on the William Knight side. I think William Knight has all the grappling upside, if there is any in this fight, and I think William Knight has the power, and I don't think Prachnio has the chin. But I also don't think Knight has the chin. So give me the under 2.5 rounds, minus 125, 1 unit. Another fight that probably should be passed on, but that was a spot that stuck out. Moving on, we got Jamal Pogues going against Josh Parisian. No, I mean, this is another 1-800 gambler fight. Like, Jamal Pogues is a light heavyweight fighting up at heavyweight, and he's minus 240 against an actual heavyweight in Josh Parisian, who weighs in at like 265. The problem with Pogues is, I don't know. I mean, I can't lay minus 240, and I think he has a path to victory here, and that's why I got to pick him. We saw Dontel Mays go out there and take down Josh Parisian. Josh Parisian made Dontel Mays look like Curtis Blades out there, so Pogues is going to have the path to victory. Pogues has shown very good wrestling, very good cardio, but he's shown all of this at light heavyweight. The one time we saw him at heavyweight against somebody on the Contender Series, he went out there and he didn't even try to wrestle, and that was a close fight. So if Pogues goes out there and wrestles, he's going to look like a massive favorite. If he doesn't go out there and wrestle, he's not going to look like a massive favorite. It'll probably even look close. So another sketchy fight. This is like one of the worst fights on the card. I mean, and it's on the main card as well. Pogues for the win, but, nothing sticking out. I mean, Pogues by decision was where I'd lean, but you're only getting plus 135 for this guy to win by decision in the heavyweight division. It's a big, big, giant pass. Moving on. Zach Palga going against Jordan Wright. I mean, this is the co-main event. I mean, I'm shocked. But anyway, yeah, I'm a big fan of Jordan Wright. I know people think I may not like him because I always pick against him. And this is actually the first time I'm picking Jordan Wright. And it's because he's going to have a path to victory here. But to be honest, he has a path to victory in every fight. He's going to have 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go out there and knock out Zach Palga, who I don't think is that durable. I mean, getting knocked out by Muhammad Usman was not a good look to me. Considering Usman only landed like 12 strikes in that matchup, and it was the 12th one that completely deaded Zach Palga. So Jordan Wright's going to have opportunities here. I don't hate anybody taking a shot on Jordan Wright KO1. I think that's his path to victory. I do have a play on this fight, and it's the fight doesn't go to decision as a parlay piece. I'll talk about the other parlay piece in a second. Other than that, I don't want to get too invested in this fight. Could Wright knock out Palga? Absolutely. Could Palga knock out Wright? Absolutely. Considered like the under 1.5 as well, but they're all over it. I mean, they know by now that this is a Jordan Wright fight. I thought maybe because Wright did go over in his last fight for the first time in 17 fights that we might get a better price on it, and that Palga's not much of a finisher. We might get a better price on it, but no. I mean, we're getting like minus 180 for the under 1.5. So they're all over it. So yeah, give me the fight doesn't go decision as a parlay piece. As a pick, I'll pick Wright, but you can't have confidence in this guy. Fight doesn't go as a parlay piece, and I'm going to parlay that up with the main event, and the fight doesn't go decision as well. That parlay comes out to minus 131 for 1.5 units, my only parlay on the card. I don't have a bet on a money line yet, but I'm getting kind of tempted on Jessica Andrade. Like, I see her at minus 119 now. I'm not sure if Andrade is injured or if it's just the hype driving the line for Blanchfield, but I don't know. I think Andrade is getting a little bit disrespected here. I know she's coming in on short notice, but this is an astronomical step up in competition for Blanchfield. I mean, I can't think of a bigger step up in competition than going from Molly McCann to going to Jessica Andrade. So is Blanchfield the real deal? I think so. Absolutely think so. I think she's the real deal for sure. But I mean, this is going to be a step up. I mean, you gotta go out there and prove that you're on the same level as like a Valentina, because the only person to go out there and dominate Andrade on the mat was Valentina. Is Blanchfield on the same level as Valentina? I don't know. We'll have to find out. But man, going from Molly McCann to Jessica Andrade is a step up. I think this fight, we're going to know who wins it within the first 2 minutes. If Blanchfield's able to get takedowns, I think Blanchfield can go out there and dominate. If Blanchfield's not able to get takedowns, I think Andrade is going to beat the crap out of Blanchfield and knock her out. So that's why I like the fight doesn't go. I think if Blanchfield gets the grappling going, I think she eventually finishes Andrade. And if she's not able to get the grappling going, I think she's completely screwed and gets knocked out in her own right. So give me the fight doesn't go to decision. Parlay with the fight doesn't go to decision for Palga Wright. And I've not bet on Andrade yet, but if this line flips or something, I might take a shot on Andrade because I think she is getting a little bit disrespected. But as of now, no bet on the main event from a moneyline perspective. All right, going to go over my 5 bets quickly. Jamal Emmer's half a unit against Ashkabab, plus 130. 1 unit on the over 2.5 between Silva Landsberg, minus 110. 1 unit on the Knight Prackney under 2.5, minus 125. 1 unit on the Themba Garimbo AJ Fletcher under 2.5, plus 110. And then 1.5 units on the parlay Palga Wright, fight doesn't go. Blanchfield Andrade, fight doesn't go. Came out to minus 131. Short and sweet this week. This card is sketchy. Probably my least favorite betting card in a while. So I'm keeping it light. Bankroll management's key. Don't go out there and put a ton of units on Mario Bueno Silva. Don't go out there and put a ton of units on Alexander Hernandez, Jamal Pogues, Hussein Ashkabab. I mean, this is a sketchy card. But yeah, good luck as always. Leave a like as always. Subscribe to the channel as always. Check me out on Twitter, DFS_numbers, Instagram, DFS by the numbers. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, hit me up there. Check out Best Bet 2 hours prior to the prelims going live at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Should be a good show there. And other than that, enjoy the fights. We have a rough card this Saturday. We have another rough card for UFC Vegas 70. But we have UFC 285, which is going to be stacked. John Jones returning, so looking forward to that. Good luck, guys. Talk to you soon. And tread lightly on this one. See you guys later.